We are
Yo,
recording. Yeah.
What's up,
I'm
guys?
putting my thing on Do Not Disturb.
Do not disturb.
I get
Hello. Welcome to Yeah Boys
calls
3.
like
Real
this.
quick. Oh my God. Same. Why is it
All the
happening so
time.
much? You guys, I thought I was being trolled. I thought that all of these new calls, I thought someone put me on a list. But now to know that we're all getting them. And you get back-to-back calls like every 5 seconds.
Oh, constant.
It's like the cell phone part of the cell phone is now the least usable. Like calling
Yeah.
people and picking up your phone is now not a thing.
It's actually crazy because you know how now you can read a voicemail while they're saying it?
Yeah.
I just tried it. It said tap to view message, and I did it, and it didn't show up.
Oh, mine always shows up and it's like, there was a fraudulent transfer for these fake ones, at least. That's what it's always saying.
Yeah.
But you're right, T. It's like they're doing that so that we don't even use the phone anymore. Now we're all just reading.
Yeah, never pick up my phone unless I recognize the number.
Yeah. But then I always wonder, when I was applying to jobs like 2 months ago or whatever,
I know.
I was like, what if it's somebody that's like, dude, I'm just going to call her.
Yeah, like,
No,
hey,
I-
Taryn,
that's
do you
why
want to
you
star?
have to-
Do you want to star in this new Warner Brothers movie? That blah, blah, we're looking for a lead, and we stumbled upon your Instagram. It's like, oh,
And I don't
you're-
answer.
You don't answer for that.
You always look at
That's
if
probably
you
what
recognize
happened.
The area code. If you recognize the area code, you're like, okay, this is a 714 or, a 415.
They're
number.
calling me on a lot of home numbers lately. I'm getting a lot of 714 numbers, which is my home phone.
Yeah.
Anywho, we've hello, yeah, boys, episode 3 or 4. 4. I was not
4.
expecting. We've made it. We are trying something new where instead of just having a set time every week where we record, we just are going to collect a couple things, and when we have a couple things to talk about, we're going to hop on and talk about them.
Which is nice because that's kind of what the Yeah Boys phone calls were anyways, right? Like you'd get a backlog of 3 or 4 things and you'd be like, guys, can you hop on? So it's like more authentic in that way.
Okay.
Who wants to kick us off?
Wait,
wanna
before
talk
we go
about-
into the topics, one more thing about one more meta point about our podcast.
Yeah.
Our podcast is in the we're growing out our hair awkward stage, isn't it? Where you're
Wait.
just like,
I feel like this is a dig.
no, it is a dig. It is a dig. But where we're
Oh
like,
my
no,
God.
trust us, it's gonna look good. Don't you think? No?
I
Oh.
literally, Tyler, thought you meant our hair,
Yeah, I thought
our literal hair.
No. Metaphor. But
Got
do you
it.
agree with the metaphor that we're like, no, you gotta trust us. We think it might go somewhere, but we know it's not there yet.
We're like in the we're
100%.
in the decision phase of like, do we want?
Do
to
we
this
keep
guy?
growing it out?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. We're growing out our hair. Go Tones.
You guys, okay, Brittany Peach, gotta get your take.
This
on
is layoff girl, right?
What's Pretty Peach?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, basically,
Bruh.
at some point yesterday, this account executive, Brittany Peach, recorded her firing. She got fired from Cloudflare, and
What's
the whole-
Cloudflare? Like a what's it called? What's
Cloud
like
service.
Oracle?
What's the best
thing?
way to describe it? Actually,
Maybe it doesn't matter, but it's just one of those like big tech companies that are.
It's as close to Oracle as you can get without being Oracle.
the web.
It's like it's
performance
going
and
in the
security
background.
company. Basically,
Okay,
you've
great.
seen Cloudflare. If like you've hit a 404 page and like there's an error, then like it's like a Cloudflare. You
100%
like
true.
if you see the logo, you're like, oh, I get this whenever something's broken.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Tony, you're going to
Basically-
give the summary of what happened, right? Or are we going to
Yeah.
play the clip?
I'll play a few clips.
Okay.
I time
Well, first
stamped
give a
few-
summary. I think it's okay to
Basically-
give a... Yeah.
Girl gets fired from her job, and it's all over Zoom, and it's 2 random people she's never met, and she's only been there for 3 or 4 months. It was just from the holidays, and she's basically pissed off that one, she's getting fired from 2 people that she's never met from the company, and she obviously knew this was coming because people are slacking her or messaging her saying like, oh, I got let go, so she knows it's coming, and they're not giving her a reason why, and they're saying it's performance based, and it's not coming across as the truth, where it's just like a mass layoff. So
Yeah.
all things that if you're in tech, you're very familiar with. And let me play a few clips real quick.
Can I say first that I audibly gasped when they started it by saying it's performance related? I thought that was the craziest beginning to this layoff of all time.
Yeah,
Can I share a
and
screen
people
on
are...
this or no?
Yeah, we can share our screen. People are very
Yeah, I think you
split
could.
on what she did. there's like a big camp that's like, hell yeah, stick it to the man. Like she stood up for herself and pushed back against the people who were firing her. And then there's a camp on the other side of, what are you doing? Like you're not making your future job prospects any easier, and you're not showing
Yeah.
that you understand business enough.
Okay,
So
so I'm gonna
there's
play.
two sides. I'd imagine we'll be split on this too, which will be fun to discuss.
This boiled me blood. This got me wild. Are you pulling it up, Tones?
Yeah.
This is where you have not met Cloudflare expectations for performance. We've decided to part ways with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
So I started August 25th. I've been on a 3-month ramp, and then it was 3 weeks of December, and then a week of Christmas, and then here we are. I have had the highest activity amongst my team. Since I've started, I have had 3 contracts out, done a really great job managing my deals up until the very end that decided not to close last minute.
I hear you.
Also, why are you doing this and not my manager? We've never met, so this seems a little odd that my manager has no idea that this has been happening and the director has no idea that this has been happening. So I'm just definitely confused, and I would love like an explanation that makes sense.
She's basically explaining like, oh, I've only been here for 3 months. 3 months was my ramp up period, and then it was 2 weeks of Christmas. And then she's like, I've been like the top performer, but even though like the 3 clients I've been talking to, like I didn't close them because they all pulled out. It was like, boom, like there's one thing you shouldn't say. It's like, well, you haven't closed. Like your job as an account executive, right?
But nobody is selling over the holidays.
That's
We
what's hard
all
too.
know that.
Recognize that. Yeah, that's what's tough. And
But
then
they,
the
they
second
must
clip-
factor that into the planning though.
Yeah. The second clip was just her kind of going off and like interrupting the HR people that were on the call, being like, wait, who are you? You're not my manager. Like, we've never met. No idea why this is happening. Like, why can't you give me the reason why I'm being fired? And the HR people were like doing a pretty good job. It's like, that's their job. Like, they're not the one firing her. They're just tasked with delivering the bad news, which sucks. And you could just tell that this person's just like super upset and wants answers.
Yeah. And so like Tyler said, there's 2 camps. One is like if you can't fire anyone well, you can do it really badly, but there's no good way to do it. And then there's the other camp that's like, this was the bad version. This was the very bad version. Where do you guys land? How do you feel like that went?
I'll
Taryn,
let you go first.
No, I feel like Taryn should go first.
Okay. Go,
I
Taryn.
mean, I get really nervous about recording things because I have recorded so many things in my life that people later have been like, you can't do that, Taryn. Like, you can't just record people at the gym, and you can't record the guy at the coffee shop for a year straight. Like, so now I'm very weary about like what's legally allowed when I'm recording. So that made me uncomfortable, knowing that she was recording the call and then posted it probably without their consent.
Pause. Someone called that out, and she's in Georgia, and the state law in Georgia is that's just like one first party consent.
one party
So,
consent.
Totally fine. Someone called her out on it.
Love
and was
that.
like, oh, checks out.
Done. Love that. But I'm all on her side. I think that firings have gotten totally out of control. I think you can't show up to a call where you are firing someone without any performance review prior, without any like noted negative feedback. Like, she's never been, to my understanding, it looks like she has never been like, hey, you're underperforming, right? She's been there 4 months, 3 of which were ramp. So she really couldn't be underperforming. I think it's crazy. I think you can't just tell people that it's performance related and not have receipts live. And it's ridiculous that she didn't have her manager on the call. I think that is the weirdest choice on these big companies doing these firings. Like, obviously they're managing so many people, and they have so many calls to make and all this stuff. But I just feel like it's the dumbest out to be like, I'm sorry, we'll get you those answers later. Like, they're just protecting themselves.
Do you think that she came out looking better than them in the video? Do you think she came out looking net positive or net negative?
I think so.
Net
I would think
positive?
that's I think that she looked like someone that cared a lot about her job and had the receipts. She detailed everything. Like, I feel like I got her. and she talked about where she didn't go well. Like, she talked about those 3 things that didn't close, or her deals that didn't close. Was she upset, and maybe did it come off a little aggressive? Sure. But I think completely fair how it went down. Like, I would have been like that too. I have been like that too, is the answer.
Yeah. Tony,
Yeah.
what do you think?
My thinking is like, this is like getting mad at a waiter because the food's bad. Like, she was getting mad at the HR people.
So well said.
And it's like, the HR people are just delivering, like, they handled themselves really well. Like, they were saying like, hey, I understand your frustration. Like, we don't have
The lady did. The guy didn't. The lady crushed it. The man sucked.
I'll have to re-listen to it. I didn't think either of them sucked. But I was getting frustrated. It's like, dude, does this girl not realize that these aren't the people that are firing her? If anything, like, it makes Cloudflare look bad just from an execution standpoint, because surely we've all been a part of this. We have friends that have been a part of this. Like, they're laying off however many people, like 15-minute back-to-back meetings, right? So it's like, maybe this is the first time she's ever been laid off, but like, I don't buy the whole this isn't fair anymore. Like, life isn't fair. This sucks. It's like, but you can't play like, why is this happening to me type of card. You can't play that.
I think you can when it's performance. That's the thing. Like, my last layoff wasn't performance. My role was cut. And I'm like,
sure.
Okay, I've got nothing to say or do here. I can't say this isn't fair. I'm like, okay, there isn't work for me next quarter, so I'm going to just be sad, but I'm not going to be mad. I get being mad when they're telling her that they're firing her for performance related, and she's like, I did everything fine.
Yeah. I don't think that you'll ever really get a true answer. Like, unless it is performance based and they tell you like, hey, listen, like, you were on a performance improvement plan, you didn't hit these metrics, you're done. But most of the time, it's just companies like backtracking their aggressive hiring plans from 6 months ago, or maybe there's like a new outlook. But typically, the company's just like changing the direction, and they're just protecting themselves and just cutting people. And for whatever reason, this person wasn't as important to maintain.
But not having that information on the call
sucks.
Is wrong. I think that's
it's wrong, but like, life isn't fair, and that's just like, you can't get pissed at that. It's like, you just have to understand that you won't have answers in life. And this goes back to realizing like, all these people, us included, everywhere, like, people join a team, they think it's family, they think that the company's going to take care of them. Like, everyone needs to get that out of their head. Like, the company does not care about anybody. All they care about is the company continuing to exist. They don't care who's there. And like, all these people get tricked into thinking like, oh, we're a family, like, this company will never do harm to me. And that is like the wrong thing to think. Even at like Disney and Pixar, like, Pixar's cutting people. There's just reports of Pixar having layoffs soon. But like, no company cares about its employees.
I agree with everything you're saying, except that I think that still doesn't justify a really bad firing.
Yeah,
like,
and
I think that not having the right information when you're telling someone why their performance was bad is like the craziest thing you can do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Taryn, that the manager should have been there. Where I empathize with the company, or what I'd imagine is the case for the company, is like, we don't know that the manager isn't a part of this too, right? That there's like multiple layers and the decisions were made above
That's
them.
Fair.
And so I agree with you that like, if it's performance, you want to hear from your manager, like, hey, you needed to have 65 leads and you only had 34. And so like, we're cutting you for that reason. That would be ideal. So I mostly net out on the side of, this is a pretty bad look for her, that like, this will hurt her job prospects and she'll be looked upon unfavorably. A couple of reasons for that. First off, I think it shows a complete lack of understanding of the business world, and more specifically, sales roles. That sales roles are just, you have to hit this number or else you're gone. It's not personal. It's just, that's how that whole world works. And she should realize that that's what she's stepped into. She had 3 months likely, and we're all speculating here, but she likely had 3 months to not have to close deals, because that would be unreasonable in enterprise sales.
They probably say that you're not expected to do it.
Yeah, they probably say you need to have this many deals in these stages, right? Like 10 who are close, 50 at the top of the funnel. They probably break it down. She didn't have that. So they don't really owe her anything other than, I'd hope that they'd have a sales plan in place, and they're just like, you didn't hit it in 90 days of where you need to be tracking to success. And then I agree with what Tony said is like she's yelling at the messenger, which also shows a lack of understanding. Like it didn't seem like those people made the decision. Their job, as Tony said, is to deliver the news and limit any liability for the company. So they did that. They delivered the news and they did not create any additional liability for the company. From a legal standpoint, I think they might have created some brand risk for the company that like now the company doesn't look that great and they have to fix that. I think another point that I'll make is she then tried to wedge them into saying that it was for no reason, that it was like poor management planning, that they overhired, when they were very clear that it was performance based. And the CEO actually replied to a tweet and said, hey, we let go of 30 or 40 people from a 1,400 person sales and marketing org. So how is that girl not looking to her left and to her right and being like, well, wait a second, they kept 1,450 people and I'm one of the 50 that are out and they're telling me it's for performance reasons. It wasn't a layoff or a role reduction, or they would have just said that and then they wouldn't have to give any reason. They could just say, hey, your role just doesn't exist at the company anymore. So I just think the recording it, not taking ownership of the situation, yelling at the messengers, trying to pin them into a reason that it's not, asking for specifics when they don't even owe her that. I just think all the way around, it will just be difficult for someone to not view her as a difficult hire. I think she looks a little bit out of touch, but I empathize with her. I should close on this. I empathize with her that like she is angry. She is frustrated. She's not getting the tight logic that she wants. And she like took that energy and pointed it back towards the company and towards these folks who it's not their job to deliver that to her. So I empathize that must be a very frustrating feeling. I just don't think that that's how I would cope with that. I don't think that's going to serve her career nicely. Does that make
I don't think
sense?
she was thinking about that though. Like heat of the
Right.
moment. Like,
Right.
I'm feeling like if it was a guy that talked it that exact same way, you wouldn't say he was yelling.
I don't think she was yelling either.
No,
I don't
I think
think
she was
think
just,
she was
I think she
yelling.
was aggressive. And I would hope that the same gender, I would feel like, dude, what are you doing? Like that you're being
I just wonder if this is I know I'm making it maybe something that it isn't, but I wonder if that's a piece of it where like we don't really see women being like
it could be.
quote unquote aggressive very often. And I'm like, I kind of think that this was just a woman that was like, tell me what you're talking about. What do you mean? Like, but if a guy would have said it and had been like, I hit all my goals, I did all my stuff, like, why am I being fired? I don't get it. I feel like it would be acceptable.
No? I think for
I don't
the
know.
logic reasons that I laid out of like yelling at the messenger, like think of it this way. Have these decisions ever been reversed? Once one of these calls have been made, has anyone pushed back in a meeting like that and ever gotten them to change it? No. So
Totally.
what are your goals? What is one trying to do in that moment? Besides like process it with the person you shouldn't be processing the news with.
But imagine you were in her shoes. We know about this girl. How are you expecting her to react given the market and everything we know? How do you really expect someone to react?
I'd expect them
That's
to
why I
expect it.
empathize with like, yeah. But there's rage, but you have to bring that rage to like a partner, a friend, a therapist, a long walk on the beach. You don't yell at the HR team.
I don't think she was yelling. I think that's
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think she was
sorry,
yelling.
being
She wasn't
aggressive.
yelling.
Just
But like, yeah, demanding answers from
She was not yelling.
from
Being
someone
aggressive.
who they know or should know doesn't have answers.
But that's the person who's delivering the worst news she's gotten
Yeah, but
in
don't
6
shoot the
months or
messenger.
whatever. It's like that's where but then choose your messenger better too, is my thought. Like why that's like being like, hey, somebody, I mean, this literally is what happened. Someone that she doesn't know gets on the call and is like, sorry, your performance is bad. Like you got to go. And it's like, okay, what? Like you're just like, she made a really good point where she was like, you don't owe me anything off after this phone call. I don't believe I'm going to get the answers after this phone call, which is totally true. Once they've done this one thing, it's like they don't owe anything to her. So she's trying to get what she can out of like the call. So
Right.
I think that part's fair.
You know where I hope the company served her, which we don't really know, because you know that phenomenon where you receive feedback or you give feedback to people, but you're not sure if they're really hearing it or receiving it.
Totally.
And sometimes all of us do it. Sometimes we block it out. We're not able to really get to it. I hope that when she signed the deal for the sales plan, they were like, I'm just going to make up the goal. you need to have 60 leads in your funnel. And I hope they were clear with that at the start, in the middle, and towards the end, that we're like, hey, if you don't have 60 healthy leads in this funnel, you're not hitting the plan. And in 3 months, we make these changes. The CEO said we do it every quarter, like 2 or 3% get let go who don't meet that plan. If they were clear with her all along about that, then that's her bad for like trying to fight and push back and said, hey, I tried hard. These few people dropped off. That's her fault. If the company didn't do that well, that's their fault. They owe her that. Clarity on expectations is owed, I think. She should never be surprised.
Yeah.
The fact that she's surprised getting that news like that is probably an error of the company.
So do you think that she will get answers from her manager from anything ever? Or is this just one of those things where you go, all right, they fired me and that's just that. I'm just going to move on.
No answers. I mean, most of these states are like at will. You can fire someone because you woke up not feeling well. You could be like, I don't like your red pants. Like, you're fired. Like, all of it is okay as long as it's not illegal and discrimination based on race, gender, age. But nobody owes anyone. Just like you can leave a job for any reason, you don't have to give them a reason. You can just say, I don't feel like working today. I'm out. They can do the same thing. They have the right to do the same thing. So she's not going to get her answers. Maybe because this blew up and turned into a big brand moment for the company, maybe the CEO or someone will call her and say, hey, this was the sales plan. These were the expectations. You didn't have the funnel you needed, and that's why you're out. But that's why 97% of the sales and marketing team is still here. It's not a role reduction. It's not a layoff.
Do you guys think this is bad press for Cloudflare or positive press for Cloudflare?
Depends on the person.
Yeah, I think on Twitter it's all positive. I think there's like this movement of like there's like this sad, I guess, up like where people are applauding companies for just like trimming the fat and just like reducing in size, right? Like ever since Twitter cut, what was it, 80% of the team, and essentially like we haven't experienced anything detrimental to our experience. Like every company's just downsizing now,
and
and it sucks. Like, it sucks to be on that end.
It does. Some people will be like, great, they performance manage. Like,
yeah.
Some people who are wired a certain way will be like, awesome. If someone's not hitting expectations, get them out. Like
the CEO
we should get high performers in every seat. Yeah.
The CEO
is just like, we fire fast, basically. We try to fire as fast as we can.
Oh, the quote, the one line that stuck out to me was like, sometimes we hire poorly, but we fire. Shoot, let me find it.
It was exactly something like that. Like we hire we make mistakes hiring, but like we try to nail it down when we fire or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Insane
More
idea.
Poetic.
Insane idea. We invite her on the podcast to just talk about it and coach and try and help.
Dude, okay.
Would that be crazy?
So
what are we helping her with? She's fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to help her go get another job right now. She's with everyone else in this boat.
Yeah. So much for it being detrimental to her career. She's getting invites to podcasts that don't even matter. Hey, wait, real quick. People.
Do you think she would empathize though with this other view that we've shared of like, hey, you didn't look great?
I'm sure she probably feels that way. I'm sure she's watching that and being like, and like realizing on the come down,
both
like,
sides
shit,
of
like,
it.
People, yeah,
maybe.
But also, what the last piece of it is that sometimes have to be the quote unquote hero in these calls, where she said that she had talked to 10 of her friends that just got fired leading up to it. So she's hearing all their shit and then gets on this call with like everyone's ammo. Yeah. She's
Gen
like, I'm going to
Gen Z hero mode.
Yeah. So I do think that was also a piece of it. Like she clearly came in ready and like
with the flag of
having
everyone's
shit to just throw on these people, probably being like, I'll record it. I'm going to whatever. Not saying she meant to make a spectacle, but like, I think that added a lot to the vibe is like, all of her people are getting let go too.
Okay. Last bit. People started pulling up her LinkedIn, and then I just pulled up her LinkedIn, and people were calling out that she'd only been
this is stupid.
No. People were calling out that she was only at Snowflake for 10 years, but then I scrolled down below that.
10 months.
Sorry, what did I say? 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, 10 months. And then right below that, she was at Insight Global for I think almost 2 years, which is just funny because that's such a blast from the past.
You know what would be crazy?
Anthony used to work at Insight Global.
Yeah, Tony, you got to reach out and try and get her on the podcast. What would be fun would be to get the background and be like, did they tell you the sales plan? What were the expectations? And what if she comes on and she says, dude, they told me 40 leads and I had 45 leads and I was tracking with the plan.
Then what are you going to do? You're going to go knock on Cloudflare's door? And be
Yeah.
like,
Then I'm going to go race out. Then I'm going to be a Gen Z hero. And I'm going to go call
let Brittany
HR.
back.
Okay, we've
Dude.
exhausted that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, let us
you
know.
guys are-
Let us know what you think. If you like
Yeah.
sat through all of this and watched it, definitely comment on YouTube or Instagram is probably where we hang out the most. And
Yeah.
I'm curious where you net out with her.
Fair. Love it. Good job, boys. Do you know anything about Gypsy Rose Blanchard?
Don't know what that is.
You guys, I'm actually shocked that you have managed to not, that you, like, this is the zeitgeist. This has been one of the biggest true crime stories of the last decade. Whoa, my little thumbs
No,
up just came.
I feel like everyone knew about the guy and the girl in Utah, or the guy killing the girlfriend and then hiding
The
and then the
van
parents
thing.
covering.
I was in on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in
Okay,
on it.
let
That's a
me-
weird way to say it. I was not in on that. I was aware of that.
Let me show you. I'm going to screen share.
What was that
Everyone-
name? What was the name of that kid? The guy and the girl.
Gabby? Gabby?
Brian
Yes.
Landry and Gabby Petito.
So you're saying this gypsy things is bigger than that?
This is the new one.
This is the biggest. It's old and new. Okay, so this is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This girl, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a year younger than us.
So 27?
She grew up with just her mom, basically, this lady, Dee Dee Blanchard. And her whole life, she had leukemia. Gypsy had leukemia. She had a bunch of muscular diseases, so she couldn't walk. She was always in a wheelchair. She had multiple surgeries, multiple medications, was one of those kids that was singing at the Cancer Foundation and whatever, but she wasn't healthy. It's not like you would see it as like, oh, she's using them for money or whatever. Like, I just showed you that picture of her. She looks like she's really going through it. Turns out she realizes that everything her mom is telling her about her health is like fake. She's like, I can move my legs. My legs are not paralyzed. This is weird.
Oh, no.
And she goes into the doctors, and the doctor's like, being like she'll be like, honey, don't move your legs. When we go in there, just trust me, listen to your mom, all this stuff. Gets found out over time that her mom has a super specific mental illness called Munchausen like what is
It's a mouthful.
Okay.
It's a
And
munchful.
honestly, okay, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which means that you're so mentally ill that like you make someone else think that they're sick, and then they get diseases or whatever based on.
Dude, this is what
This.
Layoff Girl was trying to do.
Dude, this reminds me of
It's-
just people believing that they're sick end up getting sick.
So in 2011, Gypsy starts realizing this and is like, I'm
Sorry, is
Gonna-
Gypsy the kid?
Gypsy's the kid and Dee Dee
Okay.
is the mom.
Okay.
And Gypsy starts realizing like something, my mom's not right. And she tries to run away, gets caught from her mom, and like it's kind of abused-ish, I think. But all of this is abuse, so it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Then in 2015, she meets a guy on a Christian dating site, and
Gypsy does.
Gypsy does, and mom doesn't know. They're chatting, whatever. Then he starts being like, I'd do anything for you. I love you. I want to be with you. And he's like, I'd even protect you from your mom. And she's like, oh, would you really? Blah, blah, blah. And they start playing with the idea of them running away. And since Gypsy's mom is so intense, they're like, we would basically have to kill her in order for this to happen. She's been in control of my entire life. She's drugged me my whole life. Like she's built this whole, I have leukemia, this whole thing. Her
Wait, time
and the
out,
boy
time out, time
decide.
out, time out. How did when she went to the hospital, how did not one hospital be like, yo, nothing's wrong with you?
So it's that now is murky, but
Dude, Tony, don't shoot the messenger. She's just the messenger, man. She's just HR Taryn, dude.
Dude, this is the dumbest
Now-
story. I'm just kidding.
now they're trying to go back and like sue for all malpractice, like all the doctors
Yeah.
that didn't help her. She was a kid, she was on drugs, she had no idea what's going on, but like her mom was somehow getting away with this. I don't know how.
But how do you get false diagnosed with leukemia?
I don't know that she was diagnosed.
Oh! I thought you said something about leukemia and all this stuff.
No. Her mom was telling her
that she
and
had.
everyone in their circle that she had leukemia.
But she's like going to hospitals and like ringing the cancer bell and stuff.
Probably, yeah. I mean, she's like going, not to, I don't know if she rang the cancer bell, but I know that she went to like a leukemia foundation event and like sang the national anthem at it. And it's like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
it's crazy. So she meets this guy, they fall in love, they concoct a plan to kill the mom. And in the middle of the night, he comes over, Gypsy gives him the knife. He goes, stabs the mom to death, like stabs her like crazy. The pictures are available online. It is so dark. And kills the mom.
You looked at the photos.
There's a documentary called Mommy Dead and Dearest. And
What
it's on
year
HBO.
was all this taking place, Taryn?
This was
Is this like
2015. She killed him. Wow. Or he killed her, sorry. And kills the mom. Then they go on Facebook. This is like kind of earlier, not early Facebook, but like early-ish. Goes on Facebook and like posts like, I killed that bitch, stabbed her to death, da-da-da-da-da. And everyone's like, Dee Dee, are you okay? Because it's like the mom's Facebook that this kid went on and posted all this shit on. They try to run away. They're idiot kids and get arrested right away. And
holy shit.
She gets 10 years in prison for like assisted manslaughter or whatever. And she knew about it and whatever. And then he gets sentenced to life for murder because he murdered her. And they both admit it. He is mentally super unwell and has like all sorts of mental illnesses. And she is like, well, this was abuse my whole life. I know I shouldn't have killed my mom. I'm still sorry for killing my mom, but like, what else was I didn't know what I was doing. I was a kid. I was freaked out, whatever. She only had to serve 85% of her sentence. And she has become a literal.
She's out now.
She just got out. She just got out. She is a massive celebrity now. Massive. She's on Good Morning America. She's on this. She's on that.
Oh, no.
They did a series with her when she was in prison where she met her husband who was writing to her, and now they're married. And I just watched her on like this huge pop culture podcast that I listened to. She had an hour interview. She on December 29th, like a day before she got out of prison, had 189,000 followers on Instagram. And the last I checked, she had 7.2 million followers.
Okay, wow, this is crazy.
Okay,
was there like a
wow.
Netflix documentary? Like, how did this story from 2015 just come out?
It's been, people have been obsessed with Gypsy Rose Blanchard forever.
Oh.
Like this girl has been like very big in true crime.
Gotcha.
But now her coming out of
jail
prison is like, now because she doesn't know, like she hasn't taken selfies. She hasn't done like normal shit. She's 32. And so people are all like, before she's getting out of prison, everyone's like, what do we have to show Gypsy? We have to teach Gypsy about the last 10 years. Like,
dude, we got to get her on we got to get her on the podcast.
Wait, time out. So Gypsy so her mom basically convinces her that she's sick and she's not sick. And then she convinces this random guy, her boyfriend, to kill her mom.
Basically, like she didn't go into it being like, let's kill my mom. But at some point he says something that made her think that like he would be up for running away with her. And then that's what they decided that they would do.
Damn.
So my question is, now that you're all hearing this for the first time, like knowing that she has become a literal celebrity, like icon vibes, like the Gen Z is treating her like she's like the cool girl. How does that sit with you knowing her whole story? Because I find it unsettling, but I don't know how to feel because I'm like, well, she was literally abused her entire life. Like she didn't live a normal life. It's actually crazy that I'm just telling you about this. I can't believe you've managed to escape.
I just love how the internet chooses now who's famous.
That guy in prison that was hot and then he became a model when he got out.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that was like when we were in high school.
Yeah.
I went through different stages here. I went through different stages of like, okay, she served her time, she's out. like whether you agree with the sentence or not, like that went through. Like, um, then
And
you
she
kind of,
knows she should have served. Like she wasn't trying
and
to
she
not
did,
serve,
and she
and
did.
she served. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I also feel badly. Like that's shitty to live basically like your childhood robbed from you. But then also like, how does anyone let that happen?
Yeah. The parents are interviewed a lot on all the documentaries, like her real dad or like other like aunts and uncles and stuff. And they're all like, I can't believe we didn't see it. Like, I don't know how we missed it, kind of thing. They also seem like kind of low income and maybe like they're not in the most solid community.
Yeah, that sucks.
What do you
I
think,
don't
T?
know.
I feel like if anything, it's a bad reflection on us as a society. It's like you can't really blame. Like I guess I have less judgments about. You're right. She was abused her whole life. Like Tony said, she did her sentence. But it's weird to me that we, like society, is like, let's prop this person up and like give them 10 million followers and put them on the Today Show. It's like, I don't know, something about like she's still a murderer or like
Yeah,
planned
that's
a
what's weird.
murder. I feel like it says more about us than it does about her. Like I wish she could just have done her time and then gone on and tried to like live a healthy life, but I don't think the fame is going to help her do that.
Yeah, she says that like she wants to be an advocate and all of that. She's going to go do that work, but it's still really weird to like turn on feels like the Today Show and it's like she's sitting there with her husband and they're smiling and they're like, "So what are you going to do now that you're out?" I'm like, this is crazy.
Her new
Yeah.
husband? Does she have a new husband?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
something
think
feels weird about it. Like we're propping
I
her
know.
up. I don't know. But it
It's
feels like
just
more
weird 'cause
about us, less about her.
yeah, it feels weird to like celebrate anyone that's part of a murder, even if it's for the wrong reason. Like even
Yeah.
like if you could agree that like yeah, that mom. I don't know if anyone would like say like that person deserved to die, but still like actually going through with it is crazy.
Yeah.
They ask her that in one of the documentaries that I watched where it's like, do you believe she deserved to die? Like, because of everything you put her or she put you through. And she's like, no, like nobody deserves that. Like, I
Wow.
was so,
What was there abuse
Yeah.
towards her, like physically? I guess the lying, obviously all of that is abuse, but was it more just taking advantage of her in the situation to try and fundraise and make money? Or was there like additional
don't-
types of abuse? Do we know?
I don't know, other than like, yeah, obviously she robbed her of her life and drugged
Right.
her and stuff. She also like she was on a feeding tube for a while. Like it wasn't like small, like
Yeah.
take your Advil. It was like, you're ill, you're gonna die. And so Gypsy at one point on one of the interviews I watched, she was like, I mean, I thought my whole life I was dying. Like I thought I was dying. It's like so crazy.
That's so stupid
yeah,
though.
I don't
Like
know.
how does that
Now
that's
Gypsy
so
Rose
crazy.
Blanchard is just, I know.
like that pisses me off that someone like how old was
Wow.
she?
Anyway.
Maybe was she like 5 years like was she like teenager?
She was 24 when she killed her mom.
Sorry. When
And if
she
this
thought
guy
she
gets
was
out,
dying.
if this guy,
How old
Her
was
whole
she when
life.
like when she was 20, 18, 19, 20? That's dumb.
all of it. Yeah.
She's,
Like when this guy gets out, when he gets out, let's say he gets out early at 50 years or something, or 40 years from now, is he going to be on the Today Show? Like, what are we doing? You know?
That's
no,
yeah.
he's crazy. He's bad.
Okay.
Wait, so I'm just like,
Like, he's
I
like-
just Googled her. So there's like pictures of her in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But she never had issues with her legs. So like she never just stood up.
Her mom told her she had a muscular, no, she would stand up like when she was alone and stuff and be like, oh, my legs kind of do work, but I do have this thing, I guess. And then when she would go to the doctor, her mom would tell her not to move her legs.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's so crazy. Anyway,
crazy.
so now you guys have to watch Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, I think, just to get the whole story. It's totally worth it just to see how crazy of a story this whole thing was. But yeah, now she's out and about and she's like just like a person on the internet. She's like become a literal influencer overnight, which is
Are they
just,
making
like,
a movie about her?
they already made a show about her. called
Oh,
The Act on Hulu.
got it. I just
It
see
was
a
a pretty
quote
big
that says,
show.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard wants Millie Bobby Brown to play her.
Oh my God.
This
Joey
is-
King played her in The Act. But yeah, anyway.
Speaking of content recommendations,
Yep.
I want to put a hot take out there.
Go on.
Saltburn and Past Lives better than Oppenheimer and Barbie.
It's
See
a
how
hot
many
take.
I want to see how many people agree with me on that. Go watch those and see if you think the same. I thought Past Lives and Saltburn were just way more entertaining and beautiful, and yeah, curious what you guys think.
I know I'm gonna love Past Lives. It's like I love a Fate movie,
You are gonna love it.
but I'm really shocked at the Barbie slander, Tyler.
I couldn't watch it. I
Did you
had
not
it
like
on. You watched the whole thing, Tyler?
I did watch the whole thing. I thought it was directed well,
Yeah.
the concept and how it looked, and there was some innovation there. But no, it didn't do it for me. But same with Oppenheimer. Didn't do it.
I
for
know
me.
Oppenheimer is gonna make me snooze. You guys have both seen it. Do I even need to watch it?
I haven't
Isn't
seen
it
it.
just
I haven't seen
you
it.
haven't seen it?
Watch
Like
all
we know
four.
what happens.
Watch all four. Then I'm gonna do a poll and see if my two underdogs can take down the top two, just in our little community here.
Our little community of 10. All
Okay,
right, great.
Was there
Is that
was
it?
there a third?
That's-
I thought there was a third.
I think we should cut it there. I think 40 minutes is the right amount of time to ask of people, don't you?
Tyler being so proper.
I
don't
think
know.
40 minutes is the right amount of time, don't you?
You know, they're on their drive home. They're going on a walk with their new baby. It's 40 minutes of time, those things.
Do you want to shout out our ideal follower that just joined and how excited you were?
Yeah. So shout out to our new listener and follower, Susie. I'll protect last name, but I saw Susie follow, and I was like, that's exactly what we're going for. Like, new mom, friend of ours, used to hang out regularly. We're not in touch day to day. They're gonna put us on in the background. It'll feel like we're all hanging out together. That's our target demo right there, is Susie. So shout out, Susie. Thanks for listening to us.
Guys, we're such a tight community. We see every follow. We see you.
We do.
Okay. Do you guys have any fun weekend plans? Besides like picking up the shadow that is your house, or the shattering situation that is your house,
Oh
Tyler?
my God, I know. My house was broken into. In San
Sorry to
Francisco.
throw that in at the end here.
It's okay. We don't have to talk about it. It's terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's shit.
Dude,
San
Nick, younger brother,
Francisco has
turning
to get its
30.
act together.
Crazy.
Nice.
Oh yeah, what are you guys doing
Dude,
for his 30th?
another one of our followers.
We're doing
He's not listening. Does he listen?
He's not listening to this.
listens. Well, you know what? We'll see.
Oh, cute.
Doing sushi tonight and then brewery tomorrow with his friends. So it should be fun.
Aw. Ew, I can't believe he's 30. That's
I know.
awful news. Oh my God, wait. Today is my father-in-law's birthday, and he turned 69, and we talked to him this morning, and I wrote it down because it was so cute. He goes, man, I can't believe I'm 69. Da-da-da. It's funny being the same age as old people. And I just thought,
Wow.
no, like that's how it probably feels when you get older. You're like, everyone's 70 and so am I. And I'm not you, but you are. It's so sad.
They say on average people feel 20 years younger. Once you get past 30 or 40 or something, you feel 20 years younger than you actually are when surveyed. Isn't that crazy? So if you're 60, you feel 40. If you're 70,
Wow. I certainly don't feel in my 20s anymore. Just from being active. I'm less active.
Comparison.
What? Same.
Oh, that's not how I thought you were going to take it. I thought you were saying like you just feel more grown up.
No, I feel
But
like
yours is literally your active.
yeah, like activity gone down, has gone down, and then like when I do things, I just like feel sore. I'm just like, oh, dude, like I should go get that checked. Like going from like never seeing a doctor or ever doing any type of therapy, now like having done it a few times this year already is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder how old Gypsy Rose Blanchard feels.
guys, I think Susie needs to get back home from her walk.
All right. Peace.
Okay.
All right,
Bye, everyone.
Susie.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks,
everyone.
Susie.
And Susie.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.